Hello everyone and welcome back to Infantry Only Fire Emblem 4, the only Fire Emblem Let's Play on YouTube where I literally have had to record this like 6 times because I am not smart enough to come up with a joke for this opening bit and I am struggling. So this episode we're going to be dealing with the final chapter of Generation 1, which is a long ass trek through a desert while getting hailed on by fire tomes. But that fun part has to wait because our first issue is going to come up right out of the goddamn gate. See, what we have to do is go teach Sigurd that he's a Fire Emblem Lord by having his father killed off. The problem is, Sigurd's dad is running away from axemen in hot pursuit behind him, behind a wall of armor knights, and he has to talk to Sigurd first. Now, technically, this is optional, as if Sigurd's father dies, Seliph will still get the Typh ring, but it's broken, and also that's taking this way out like a little bitch, and we're gonna have Sigurd talk to his father. Problem, normally you'd be able to just run up there with Sigurd, but he can't be in any battles, so he can't actually frontline. We have to have someone else frontline, clear the way for Sigurd, and then have Sigurd move up, so it's a bit more annoying than it has to be. Thankfully, we still have Hurricane Lewin, and those guards are looking an awful lot like the eastern coast of America. Lewin manages to take care of a good chunk of them on his own, but Tytil Yu, Prince Jam, and the rest are right there to help clean up even more. After that, it's a very simple matter of getting Sigurd over and talking to his father as he dies a heroic death to give Sigurd a broken sword. Then, with Ideen's rescue staff, we can get him out of the way of those axemen and then move someone else up to take care of them. Next up, we have to brace for those axe knights coming up ahead. Thankfully, we can tank them very easily. With our tank, Arden is actually able to do what he sets out to do and tank an oncoming enemy force. And thanks to the fact that enemies there have negative attack speed, even in the final chapter of a generation, Arden just needs to slap on a sword and he's able to actually one-round all of them. It's actually kind of magical to see Arden being capable of taking down enemies on the final chapter all by himself. It's kind of cathartic, in a way. Gotta be honest. Once we deal with all those axe knights, Genealogy decides to throw another large group of units that all use the same weapon type at us. This time, bows. This is the Bow Knight Squadron that took out Manya and all her Pegasus Knights, led by Ideen and Brigid's brother. So we decide, rather than just leaving Lewin there to sweep like we normally would, we put Brigid there instead with the Ufel, tanking most of the hits, though it is a little dicey, I get unlucky on some hits, and she basically wipes out that force single-handedly. There are a few stragglers, including Andre himself, but Brigid again makes quick work of him, deciding I'll give the kills to her instead of Lewin for revenge, which Lewin's already level 30, and I'm actually going to start taking the whole he steals XP thing a little bit more seriously, though it probably doesn't matter. I mean, Fabale is fucking Fabale, he doesn't really need stats. Once all that's taken care of, I move Arden down south to trigger a special event for him. Not many people see this one because, first of all, who would take Arden into the final chapter, and not many people do, and it's also required for him to be married for this event to trigger, so yeah, not a lot of people are doing that. Basically, Arden's like, I have a family now, I can't go out dying, which, you know how well that ends up, and he basically finds a secret book on the ground. I don't think it's actually called anything, it's just a book that gives him +5 skill, so it's kind of like a super secret book, if anything. Which, extra skill on Arden? Very good, that stat sucks for him. Does he have very much time left to use it? You'll see, it's a bit more handy than you think for us. Before we move on to conquering the first castle, I should make note of the enemies to the west. See, it's a small group of armor knights and a few bandits that are gonna move up and try to capture our home castle. I just have Ira and Holm deal with them, and have Azel go around taking care of the bandits. It's not anything too fancy, but it is something that happened, and something I should make note of. Once it's time to take down Langbolt, I decide there's only one fitting way to have this confrontation. An epic Baron on General Armor Knight fight between him and Arden. I have great faith in Arden, he's done wonderful for us so far, and I believe he will be able to take down Langbolt with absolutely no problems whatsoever. So anyway, as I was saying, we move Lewin up to attack the boss, and he should be able to handle things no problem, you know? There was never an idea for anyone else. He's gonna activate Forseti, and it's gonna go off without a single hitch, and we're gonna— oh hey, Pavice activated. But that's okay, we're just gonna activate Adept, and we're gonna hit him with Forseti for real this time, because it's gonna do— oh hey, Pavice activated. Rather than bitch about Pavice endlessly, real quick, I'm gonna explain what we do with Azel. You see, society has progressed past the need for Azel, so I promote him to Mage Knight. Now this makes him mounted, so I can't use him in combat. I wasn't really intending to at this point. We don't really need him around anymore. His non-promotion gain stats are more of a liability now. So since he's promoted, his stats will go up a little bit, so he's able to give Rana a bit more in the stat department. His items don't matter at all because, you know, he's not passing anything on to Lester that he wants, nor is he even going to be using Lester. So, this is farewell to Azel. Thanks for everything, man. You made the first chapter possible. To spare you all my mental anguish, eventually Pavice does stop deciding to be a piece of shit, and Lewin is able to take Langbolt down. Sigurd seizes the castle, and we get the scene where he sends Seliph, Oyfei, and Shannon away. This is a touching scene, and it's kind of clear at this point that Sigurd's not going to see Seliph again. It's never outright stated that something bad's about to happen, but there's just an air of dread all throughout this chapter. But who knows, maybe everything will go just okay. I decide now is a good time to hold that fast forward button and just get through the arena. It's gotta be done, we gotta get our last bit of gold, get the last bit of XP, and just make sure everyone is ready to hand off things to their children. After all, it's not like anything plot interesting or significance happening right now. It's a perfect low moment in the story to just take care of all this shit. And now it's time to actually begin the trek south through the desert. Now, there's not too much here, it's just being pelted by some fire mages with Meteor. I was worried initially because if they target Sigurd, he'll be in combat, and that's a no-go. But they seem much more interested in the likes of Holm, Tytiliu, and Claude instead of Sigurd, which— I don't know why they want to go after the guys with some of the highest bulk in the army, at least for magic, but if they want to keep throwing meteors at Claude for like 3 damage, by all means, go ahead, I am not complaining. And now it is time to talk about what may very well be my favorite moment in this entire challenge so far. Arden versus the entire legion of Thracian knights that took out Quan and Ethlin. And he just goes to fucking town. There are no survivors. Arden and Arden alone just wipes out that entire force. It is so amazing to watch one of my favorite characters and someone who's often mocked as a terrible unit, which, okay, yeah, he is, but shut up, just decimating the entire force. And here's the absolute real best kicker to it all. The weapon he does it with is Finn's Brave Lance. That's a level of irony and just the icing on the cake of an absolutely beautiful moment. Take a moment and revel in your victory, Arden. You deserve it and so, so much more. I love you, Arden. Take care, my friend. After that incredible moment, things die down on the intensity scale as we make another trek south towards the end of the entire first generation. Now, so a lot of people consider this a boring trek through the desert, but I actually want to defend it for the theming. It's the march to the final moment of Sigurd's journey. Everyone has conversations talking about the finality of it, and it just builds up the tension to the final clash with Reptor. Now, I know I'm getting into a slippery slope of excusing anything boring in the game with the theming. Oh man, why was there boring backtracking in Chapter 4? Oh, it's for the theming. Why is there a boring trek south with not a lot going on now? Oh, it's for the theming. Why did you kill those children in the summer of 2009? Oh, don't worry, man, it was for the theming. It gets a slippery slope, I know, but I really think it's justified here. Once you actually get to Duke Reptor's forces, it's actually not too difficult. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're decently powerful, and Reptor himself is no joke, but the chapter will instantly become no problem once you kill Reptor himself. And he tends to lead the charge of his men, so it's very easy to single him out with whoever you had being strong as fuck. In a normal playthrough, it's probably Sigurd with Typhering, in our playthrough, it's Lewin with Forseti, and it probably might be in your playthrough too. It's a very, very simple way to end it, but goddamn is it not a great climax in terms of finally bringing this fucker down. And now, for the grand finale. Sigurd, level 5, has not seen a single round of combat. 0 XP. We go in here. 0 XP. 0. 0. 0. And 0. None of them have fought in a single battle. Then we go down, and here it is. Our lovely goons. All of them. No horse. Strong as fuck. And Sigurd finished Generation 1 of Genealogy of the Holy War without a single cavalry unit doing anything. I have to press A again, fuck. And so our trek through Generation 1 is finally finished. This run was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, and not as hard as I thought it was going to be either. This was super relaxed, super fun, and it's only halfway done. We still have to put up with the entirety of the second generation. So I hope you all enjoyed everything up until this point, and I will see you guys next time for when we tackle Chapter 1, or 6. Fuck, god damn it, the last moment of the video and I fucked it up dramatically.
Change the world. My final message. Goodbye.